Good day, everybody. I'm Shmee, and I make guides for Path of Exile's Ruthless mode. If you're enjoying the content, please hit that like button and feel free to subscribe if you'd like to see more. Today, I'm back to give the final part of my Ruthless Atlas guide, where I will teach you how to set up your Atlas to solve the biggest problem you're going to run into at the endgame. In Ruthless, item scarcity is so bad that if you don't do anything about it, your mapping will fail because you'll simply run out of maps. You just won't be able to find enough of the actual map items to sustain your mapping. When you first reach endgame on your Ruthless League starter, you must use your Atlas to solve this problem. The key to a solid Atlas in Ruthless is filling out the pack size circle as quickly as possible. And the best way to do that is by temporarily picking up the keystone Wandering Path. Then simply get to work on your Atlas progression, save up 20 Atlas points, and then you can unlock the notables in your Atlas tree by directly refunding the Wandering Path keystone. Wandering Path is like a kind of Atlas bank that will loan you 20 points to get started on your endgame journey. In my experience, there are 3 good ways to get there. The fastest is taking a right-hand atlas and driving through this delve cluster. However, instead of going through the notable Mad Devotion, it's better to take these points here, granting increased map drop chance instead. The reason why is because delve is not a great mechanic until the point of yellow or red maps. It's better to give yourself a slight boost to map drop chance at the beginning of your atlas progression. Sadly for Nico, this means that the fastest path is also technically the least effective, though only by a few points. The second fastest is doing the same thing, but with a left-hand atlas. If you choose the left-hand path, you can go through the Perpetual Search notable. Don't use those early alpha missions, though. Just hang on to them. Of course, if you want to smooth out your map drop chance at the start, you are more than welcome to do the same thing that we did last time, using these map drop chance points instead to path. If you know you'll be further investing into alpha, you can also cut through her incursion cluster here to get to the pack size circle, and then take Wandering Path. The third option to get to Wandering Path is cutting directly through the center. Note that this center path will make it significantly more difficult to reach the various league mechanics, though. All 3 options are equally valid. The right-hand delve path is technically the easiest, but they're all pretty much equal. It's more about whether you'll be favoring a left-hand or right-hand atlas. If you know that you eventually want to heavily invest into Nico and atlas mechanics on the right side, then take the right-hand path. If you want to eventually max out incursion and left-hand league mechanics, then take the left-hand path. And if you don't really heavily invest into either delve or incursion, and you don't really want to invest much into the individual league mechanics, then take the center path. Now, let's assume that you're about 20 points into your atlas, and you just picked up Wandering Path. There are 2 different ways that you can spend those points that you got loaned. The first is to simply fill out the pack size circle, and then pat yourself on the back. That's it. You'll still have to fully clear your maps, you'll still need to farm up and maintain a map collection, and you'll still have to farm 20 Atlas points to refund Wandering Path. But now, you will find enough maps to sustain mapping without having to buy maps from Kirok. The second way that you can spend your Wandering Path loan is to activate the 7th gate. If you choose to activate the 7th gate, make sure you do it right away as soon as you pick up Wandering Path. Doing so will not only solve the map scarcity problem, but it'll grant you about 10 to 12% increased item quantity for everything due to the 2 additional modifiers that you're going to get on each map. And of course, you could always add the pack size circle on top of the 7th gate. That's exactly what I did in my Totally Atlas build, and I do have one warning. Your maps can get incredibly frustrating with the 7th gate, especially by the time you get into yellow maps and really when you get into pushing red maps. You will get a ton of loot and way more maps than you need, but the cost is taking an already difficult game mode and turning it into a true nightmare difficulty. I think we will see a pretty significant power creep in Affliction League, which means that taking on that nightmare difficulty likely won't be as punishing now. Just beware that you're going to lose plenty of maps to 7th Gate added mods, and you're going to start really hating Beyond Demons. Speed farming maps for missions, like boss rushing instead of actually doing clears, that becomes an option with the 7th Gate. The 7th gate is basically in its own category in terms of how to use the Atlas in Ruthless. If you are willing to activate it, you earn the ability to do pretty much whatever you want. The 7th gate is a license to be too cool for school. As you continue into your Atlas development, your next task is going to be paying back that Wandering Path loan. Just hit the grind, farm up 20 points, and then reclaim your Atlas notables by directly refunding Wandering Path. After you do, you're going to want to pick up Time Dilation. Once you have Time Dilation, you can cash in any of those acquired Alva quests, and you can start farming the Temple of Otsuatl. And if you do that, you're going to see that your Atlas progression will speed up even faster. You're then going to want to make sure to pick up the Perpetual Search and Mad Devotion if you haven't already. You will also want to pick up the Kirok node's Commissioned Officer and Expert Reconnaissance. The main goal after refunding Wandering Path is getting your Atlas Masters set up. Once you have everything that I just listed, now is when you want to start banning League mechanics. Path to the ban nodes and ban any mechanic that you don't want to see. Remember that the best way to see any of the 10 League mechanics more often in Ruthless is to ban the other mechanics that you don't want. Check out Atlas Guide Part 3 if you want to see the math behind that. This, using any of the 3 original paths that I showed at the start of the video, is now a fully set up Ruthless Atlas. Your maps will feel full instead of feeling barren, and you're sitting on a 7% chance each for Nico and Alva missions when you complete a map, as well as a 2% chance to get a Kirok mission and the additional scouting reports. And it leaves you with about 80 points where you can spend them as you please. Now, instead of telling you what to do from here, because it is up to you, I'm going to offer a few general tips. First, in terms of Atlas progression, these 2 Kirok clusters down in the corners are the best points in the game that you can add to what you already have. Second, you're going to get a greater overall return from investing into Masters and base mechanics than you get from investing into League mechanics. I'm not saying that you can't invest into any of the 10 League mechanics, but those investments should be light and spread out. Going all in on one mechanic is generally not a good idea, although for this patch, if you go all in on Ultimatum, no one's really going to blame you. And at the end of the day, the reason we play these games is for fun, and so that's what really matters. There are only 2 more specific things about the Atlas that I want to show you, and everything else will be up to you. The first is the keystone Lucid Dreams. Red map progression is particularly tough in Ruthless due to the lack of Vol orbs and currency in general. Taking Lucid Dreams causes bosses to drop all kinds of really great high-quality corrupted items, and it also makes it a lot easier to farm corrupted maps. If you push your increased item rarity, which you will, then you're often going to be getting rare and corrupted maps dropped directly from the bosses. Lucid Dreams is very good, and it has very little drawback. The other thing I'd like to talk about is the collection of all of these shaping nodes. In Ruthless, you're going to be building a map collection, and you'll use the 3-for-1 map trade to trade up map tiers on occasion. A 2% chance to add a single tier to a map drop may not sound like much, but it's effectively a 2% chance for that map drop to be duplicated twice. That's fantastic, even if it doesn't seem like much. As long as you set up the basis of your Ruthless Atlas like this, you will have a successful time, and your maps will feel nice and full. As long as you're following this Atlas advice, it's, it's not really going to be smooth, but it'll be as smooth as it can be. After all, there's a reason why they call this game mode Ruthless. I don't know about all of you, but League start tomorrow, I can't wait. Thank you all for watching, and until next time, take care, Exiles.